This conference will now be recorded.
Change that to Joe.
Now it's official. We can start our meeting. Welcome to AnCan's Blood Cancer Support Group. I'm Michelle Nadine Baker and located in Boston, and I have CLL. And I'm so happy to have you all with us on this steamy July evening. My co-moderators are Sally, Al, and Lynn. And we are actually sprinkled around the country as I think it through, like we're kind of in like area here. And let's see.
And then we have Germany.
Yeah.
Then we have Miss Europe with us, representing all of Europe, continental Europe. Thank you. I think we need to get representatives in the rest of the world now. Barbell, can you work on that?
Yes, I will.
Fabulous. So I wanted to see who needs some time to speak tonight. Barbell, since we just had you, will you need some time and we'll come back to you?
I have a short feedback to give.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
I just have a question, so go ahead.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Mary, what about you? Do you have anything you want to share with us once we come back to you? Oh, we can't hear you, Mary.
You are muted.
No, she has the bird mute on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it birds? I thought it was cats.
No, it's a very large parrot.
Okay, I can't unmute you, Mary.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
having all kinds of computer problems. So I'm trying my phone and it's not working that good, but no, I don't need any time.
How about your bird? Does your bird need time?
Well, probably.
Back to what's your bird's name?
Bird. Yeah, Captain Bird.
Well, this is not cat or fish. Okay. Well, we'll come back to bird. Jim, do you have anything that you would like to share when we come back?
I got a status update.
All right. And I can't wait to hear about your IT update too. Faye.
It's really Joe.
Joe.
Well, I knew you both share with us.
Yeah.
So do either of you have anything you'd like to share when we come back around?
Not really.
I'll think about
I'll
it.
check in on you anyway. All right. Lynn, do you have birthday cake for us?
I had a birthday muffin, chocolate muffin with some, I don't know what kind of icing. It was kind of a vanilla flavored. Wish I could have had some with me. And
You
we
were going
had
to bring some.
and we had some Mexican food, homemade Mexican food with smoked pork and salsa and pico de gallo and cheese and
You must be from Texas.
and
You're
Jose. We had some Jose in there, and we had some Maria, and I'm just carrying on.
So everyone doesn't know what you were celebrating tonight or today.
Oh, our granddaughter turned 7 yesterday, but we didn't show up till today. So anyway, it's she's a little dynamite. She does tumbling, and her mother was a cheerleader in high school and college, and she's got the same athletic abilities that her mother does. So,
Wow. Congratulations.
well, thank you.
Thank you for being with us tonight, Lynn. Do you have a short time with us? Like, should we get to you sooner than later?
Probably so. Yeah.
Okay. Al, do you have anything that you want to update us on tonight?
Sure, yeah, I'll take a couple minutes later.
Okay. Sally?
I have a status update.
I do too. All right. Well, let's get this party started. And For those of you, Alexa, why don't you introduce yourself? Because I don't know if everyone knows you.
Sure. So I will need a brief second too. So I'm glad that I'm doing that. Hi, everyone. I am Jett. I have not been to blood cancer in a while. I actually work at AnCan and I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But I wanted to give a big shout out to Joe because Joe is one of our art friends and does an amazing job. And we love seeing Joe's art. So thank you. That's what I wanted to say tonight. Joe, we always appreciate having you at art class, and we're so proud of the work that you do. But guys, thank you for allowing me into your space tonight. Really appreciate it. I'm filling in for Rick.
A lot of fun. I learn something every time.
Oh, wonderful.
Excuse me, Alexa,
Yes.
are we supposed to thank our sponsors in this one? Do they actually sponsor us too?
No, we do not have all the same sponsors for group. We do have for prostate cancer and our veterans group,
Right.
but I do not think we have a sponsor for blood cancer.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that. Thank you very much.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
Since you just spoke about art, when is the next art class?
Sure. So the next art class is going to be, I believe, on June 20th. Hannah is working. Because I texted her yesterday, she is finishing up the project that we're going to be working on because she does the example project and she works through some kinks. So we will be sending out stuff very shortly for you to register for that. But if you haven't come by. We can work with anything and we have a great time.
Do you
Could
mean
you tell me about the art class? I don't know anything about the art class.
Sure. So last year we got a grant from the Healthy Voices, Johnson & Johnson and Janssen, and it absolutely changed everything for us. So we were able to do a summer of art class. We did 4 classes last year where we provided art supplies, and we had where you could bring your family members, your friends, your kids, your grandkids.
Where is this?
And it's at AnCan. It's all virtual.
Oh, okay.
It's all virtual. It's all free. We do veterans art appreciation as well. So for that, we are grant funded that we can send you 100% of the art supplies for free. And our other art classes right now, since we don't have a grant for them just yet, which again, like blood cancer, just yet, we do have bring your own art supplies, which we can work with anything you have, if it's just pencil or paper or whatever you have. Or if you email us ahead of time, we can tell you what you need and we can get it the most affordable for you as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I was hoping to make the last one, but they changed my infusion. It was an infusion day. I know. And it was later. It ran late. But I can't wait to try one of these. And Healthy Voices has wonderful grants. I've been part of Healthy Voices for some years now. And it really is. I'm so happy that you all got one of their Impact Fund grants. Well deserved. There aren't that many that they give out. So good for AnCan for getting that. So Lynn, since you're going to have to skedaddle, since you're with your grandchildren, you have 2, right? Where you're at? Do you have 2 granddaughters where you're at, or just 1?
What was your question?
Are you where you're at you're at your, is it your daughter's house?
Yes.
And
yes,
how many?
This is our daughter and son-in-law's house, and we only have 2 grandkids, and this is where they reside. So one of them is 7, turned 7, and the other one is 2 years older than that, 9. And they lived with us when they were when our granddaughter was born. She lived with us, and our grandson he came and lived with us before he was even a year old, so that their mom and dad could finish their schooling. Our daughter was close to being finished with her college, and our son-in-law training to be a fireman and a paramedic. So anyway, I was explaining about my granddaughter, how talented she is with all the tumbling and things like that she inherited from her mother, and her grandmother is very talented, my wife. And what I told my daughter when she was just about toddler age, that I was also, she inherited something from me, that when she grew up, she was going to have hairy legs just like her daddy. And so I have not told my granddaughter that yet. I think that traumatized my daughter, so I have not done that. But anyway, those old legs are not. Anyway, those old legs are not as hairy as they used to be. With time, the hair everywhere starts getting thin. Have been off of my ibrutinib, which I took for 9 years for small lymphocytic lymphoma. I, I, I have been off of it since March. I've been off of it April, May, June, about 3.5 months now, almost 4 months. So I seem to be doing okay. In the midst of all this, I've started taking a drug called Esbriet, and it is for pulmonary fibrosis. I've been diagnosed with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and this was something that was noticed and idiopathic means they don't know why I have it, because I've never been a smoker. It's just one of those things, and I don't. My new cancer doctor, which I changed to, he felt like it'd be best to go ahead and stop taking the ibrutinib, and if I have to go back on a BTK inhibitor, to go on one of the ones that has fewer side effects. I'm not saying that that's what's causing this, but you just don't know. So anyway, so I'm off of that. I did have a little excitement here about 2 weeks ago or so. I began passing some blood with my bowel movement, and I stopped taking all my medicines. I mean, I take a blood thinner, and I take a blood pressure medicine, and I take a statin drug, and I take so forth and so on. There's 5 of them I take. So I stopped everything for about 3 days, 3.5 days, and then I began to ramp things back up. But I contacted all my doctors, said, look, this is what's going on. I mean, I sent a note to my cancer doctor. I sent a note to my lung doctor because I'm taking a drug there. I sent a note to my benign hematologist because um, he had prescribed the Eliquis, which is the new blood thinner I'm on. So anyway, everything was kind of on stop, and I was getting messages back and forth. And you know how it is when you're trying to determine what's causing an issue you have. Is it a new drug you're taking, or what is it? Of course, in my case, I stopped everything. So everything calmed down after a couple of days, and so then I restarted my medicines, and on the new drug, which I was taking for the lungs, I ramped it up over 3 days. Everything's been calm since then. So when you're on a blood thinner, you can, and pretty much my own diagnosis is it probably was a hemorrhoid that was bleeding, and had flared up. So it has not reoccurred. I have also I have not talked to my. I've talked to my primary care physician. I've emailed him as well, and I had a colonoscopy last October, so everything should be okay there. But I'm not really wanting to volunteer to do that again this soon. But anyway, when I should be seeing my primary care physician in the next couple of months, I think, and at that time we'll talk about it and see if maybe we want to do the Cologuard test or something like that. But anyway, that's not really my favorite part of my body to be examined, like any of us. So
Hey,
hopefully that
Lynn,
won't
Lynn,
be.
one thing, bidet. Get a bidet.
Get a bidet.
Absolutely.
Which,
You'll never go
which one do
back.
you recommend?
There's one at Bondo. You Costco member? Do you belong to Costco?
No, there's not a Costco where we live.
Do you belong to one of the buying clubs or anything?
Yeah, I belong to Sam's Club.
Yeah, look at Sam's Club and go on their website and look up bidets because
Okay.
it'll just retrofit. All you really need is an electrical outlet by the toilet for the heated water. But I'll tell you what, you'll think
It's
it's
good. We have one too.
it's
Right.
People will
fantastic.
get in line to try it out.
Yeah, I mean it's just it's
Makes a
like
big difference.
Okay, wait.
pardon?
I just have to ask. Are you talking about like the kind that's permanently fixed in
No,
plumbing?
no, just they make seats with everything, and all it is. I mean, it's heated. Oh God,
Is
for
it?
like
Let's
250
see.
bucks, you can't beat it. I'm telling you. Just in what you save for toilet paper.
Ah,
Does
Not
it, does
only
it,
I
that,
mean,
it's when you're on
you
the
know,
drugs that are terribly,
right? And
like
you know,
Revlimid.
everybody gets intermittent diarrhea and everything, or you might have to go 3 times, man. I'll tell you, you'll never go back. Honest to God, you will never ever go back.
does it have a built-in dryer as well?
Yes, everything.
yeah.
Built-in
A
dryer. You
blower,
can
yeah.
adjust your temperature on your seat. You can adjust your water pressure. You can adjust the heat. Yeah, absolutely. For
Well,
her,
you
you
come
know,
back,
Mine's a
come back next
Kohler,
month, and
isn't it?
I'll have it installed
Oh,
and give
it's a
y'all a
Kohler.
tour.
Can we have a show and tell next time, Jerry? Can you show us your bidet, please?
I guess
it's
that's
just,
what we could
I'm
do.
telling you,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll never go back.
Is there
Say,
a brand?
here's my wife in the
No,
bathroom.
any of them, any of them.
Honey,
As long as it
how
uses
is the
warm
throne?
water.
Is it comfortable?
Yes, very much so. It's form fitting and it's like if I'm just telling you.
So the name,
I'll
the
go
brand name,
shopping. If I have to go, I'll try to make it home so I could use that thing
yeah.
versus going
Well,
anywhere else. I'm
that's
telling you.
part of being a senior citizen.
I don't want to tell you all, I had one in my condo in Miami. I was like, what am I going to do with this thing? Planter? I don't know. I was just like, what? Because I had never had one in my home before. And first I had to figure out how you're supposed to use the thing and which direction you turn in. It was just very, yes.
Oh no, that's a different kind. So they have 2 different kinds of bidets. So they have the like the fixed
Yes, that was a
bidet,
fixed
like
one.
in Europe and everything, where
Yes,
you turn a
that's what
handle on and that type of stuff. But what the American bidets is, what it does is you just remove your toilet lid and seat, and you reroute your water into this thing, plug it in, and you're good to go.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
Literally.
it's so easy.
Sally. Sally, do you have one?
Not anymore.
But you had one before.
Yeah, California had one. Indiana doesn't.
Sounds like it's something very California-like. Jerry,
Yes, it is.
Jerry, you are a font of information, of gizmos and gadgets.
Yeah,
We're gonna
absolutely.
have to throw one at you next time, a request or something, and see if you know something. Lynn, are they testing you? How often are they testing your levels for your SLO?
I go back to see Dr. One in Dallas the end of August.
And when?
And
Mhm.
so the question would be, when did I see him last?
Yes.
I think that was probably about the end of May, 1st of August last time I saw it, 1st of June. Ah, goodness gracious. Hard question. Hold on a second. AWAN.
These work.
The last time I saw Dr. Wan was on May the 9th.
Wow, 4 months then. It'll be 4
So
months.
in February, was the time before that.
So he must be feeling pretty good that your SLO is not going to do much.
He said he thinks it'll go 2.5, 3 years. He said he did not see in all those tests anything that really indicated that I had SLO. So he said, as far as I'm concerned, you're in remission. So
wow.
And you don't have any lymph nodes either, do you?
No, my lymph nodes were all internal, but they did a CAT scan, and so we'll see whether when I see him again on August 30th or 31st, whether he wants another CAT scan or just go with the blood work. But
Wow, that's fabulous, Lynn. And that's from, I didn't realize a BTK inhibitor could do that.
well, it's not a known side effect, but still there's been some papers and some people that had some pulmonary fibrosis problems, and I don't understand what I was reading, and it didn't make sense to me. But anyway, my doctor said I just want to get you off of this. He said if we, when that time comes that you need to be treated again, we'll just discuss at that time what the appropriate treatment is. So he said you're 75. If you can make it 5 more years, you're 80 years old. That's a pretty full life. So.
But I want more.
Yeah, that comment didn't excite me a whole lot when he said that.
No, but I didn't.
I don't feel 80 because I'm only 79, but I don't feel this old.
Yeah.
You would never know that you're that age, but maybe that age isn't that old anymore.
Maybe 80 is the new 60.
Oh, it is. You know that?
You don't look 80.
Thank you.
Or 79. No, you don't. Lynn, I didn't know that. I didn't real BTK inhibitors generally don't put you into remission. So this is wonderful.
He just what he said before he ever did all the tests. He said you've been on a long time, and I feel like it's really been repressed very, very low. And so the test was only looking for cancer cells in 10,000, but and he said he didn't see any mutations, and I assume that's not like the mutations we normally think about, whether you're mutated or unmutated, but which is for CLL and SLL, it has to do with your what is it? IVHG.
Yeah, but they do see you can, when you're on treatment, you can, additional genetic markers can happen. And there's also the chance of Richter's transformation.
Right.
So it sounds like neither of those happened, which is a good thing. That's wonderful. Wow. You might go down in the record books as being the first person they think that's been cured, or one of the people cured by a BTK inhibitor or put into UMRD. And you heard it here first on AnCan, everyone. I do hope for you that is what it is. Because that would be.
Well, and I will tell you that the BTK inhibitors, one of the side effects is that your nails are very brittle, and my fingernails are just back like they used to be, just as strong and stout as they used to be. The only problem is the hair is still real wavy and frizzy, and I think it's getting better. I'm hoping that when this is all over, my hair will come back just like Jerry's. So
yeah,
I will. Maybe back like Al's and like Jim's, and like Joe. Joe's got a nice head of hair.
So did they say your hair could come back once you're off?
I don't think they're concerned about that at all.
I
think that's.
You had a very
wear
nice
a hat. They always say wear a hat.
Wear a cap like this, yeah.
Did that happen from a brute nib?
Well, my hair used to be very straight, and it got real wild and frizzy, and the eyebrows started growing up, and so I think it took about a year and a half for it to get bad. So maybe it'll take about a year and a half for it to come back and straighten out and quit going up in the air. I mean, I've said that I think Albert Einstein was the first person to take a brutinib, because there's pictures of him where his hair looked like he'd had his hand on a Van de Graaff generator.
I thought he put his finger into the first light socket.
Yeah.
So, Lynn, there are some doctors who say no on the hair, but my hair thinned quite a bit on a brutinib. And also, once I started a calibrutinib, it started again. But, however, my nails on a brutinib did go through what you said, but on acalabrutinib, not. So if they do end up putting you on another BTK inhibitor, your nails should be okay. Now the hair, I have just been thinking about how fuzzy frizzy my hair is, but I've just assumed, you know, I can blame it on the hot weather right now. So I'll let you know on that one. That is
Okay.
funny you should say that, because I have curly hair to begin with, and I have thought it's been curlier. So I'll keep that in mind, what you said, because you did have a glorious head of hair in your photos, I see, from before treatment. So
Yeah, it was. Some of this just may be, you know, getting get that new 60. I'm getting close to it.
Mhm.
the new 60.
Mine came back.
I wanted to grow a mullet.
My hair came back absolutely dead straight. And then a year and a half later, my curls came back. So it was very strange.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Anyone
It was
else?
almost like it came back straight because of the chemo, but then that all got out of my system, so my natural curls came back.
Anyone else here go through losing their hair or some of their
Yeah.
hair?
Yeah, I
No, it got thinner. It got thinner, but it grew back.
Oh, I was bald for 6 weeks.
Wow.
And Jerry used to have an afro.
you know, they used to call me Cactus Kid because my head looked like a cactus when I was younger, growing up. Because I had just so much hair; it was all curly and everything. It's the way it is. It's all relative.
Must have another box.
My wife says now I look Nordic, or like a Viking.
Well, Vikings are in, so you know, that's a good thing. Al, you have a great head of hair. Did you ever lose any from treatment?
I didn't lose it, but I've had thinning hair where, you know, so I have to wear glasses. I mean, I'm not blind, but I can still see pretty well. But when I take a shower, I don't take a shower with my glasses on. And every time my wife goes in there once in a while to clean it up, she pulls up a big old wad of hair that's on the drain that I never see. And it's, so yeah, my hair is thinning. I don't know. Maybe it could be the new 60s, like Lynn was saying, or could be the hydroxyurea.
Anyone here try minoxidil or Rogaine? Jerry, I see how it's working.
I'm not giving up because it really made a big difference before. So the first round of chemo I went through, I come back, I started losing a little bit of hair and everything, so I shaved my head. And what I found was my hair, I didn't need to shave my head. And then it came back even thicker because I was getting some male pattern, and it came back thick and everything. And then this next round, when they did it, they gave me they gave me a heavy duty kitchen sink chemo to get me in remission, and I never got it back. It's been 2 years.
And you're trying, have you used minoxidil now?
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't do anything.
Anyone else try it? I'm considering trying it for
Oh,
here.
you should try it. Absolutely. I mean, for women and everything with with thinning hair and everything, what I would suggest you do is look at getting generic stuff though versus the prescription, or not the prescription, but the name brand stuff, because it's about half.
Well, thank you for that. All right,
Well, you
Lynn,
can
was
also
there
get a laser hair helmet too.
Well, see, I don't need it back here.
Okay.
Here.
Well, no, the laser hair helmet will grow it all the way. They got new helmets and everything that will actually sprout. It's a specific type of UV that stimulates your hair follicles. It'll grow hair. I grew hair with it. I was losing it up here, and I used to use it, and it came right back. It came back thick, and I was surprised. So yeah, great.
Did you give up on using your laser hair helmet?
No, I still use it because I'm an optimist.
Well, maybe
I doubt it's going to come back. I just if it doesn't come back in 2 years, and I'm off the anti-rejection and everything, it's not coming back.
Well, you never know. Maybe it's like what Sally said, once it gets out of your system, you know, that could be it. Let me just see. So, Barbell, you said you had a short story to share.
I have a short, well, actually, I had my checkup 2 weeks ago, and they did an ultrasound. I found a small lymph node under my left arm, but only like 2 centimeters. It wasn't very large. So I had a biopsy done, and I have no results yet, but actually I don't think it's, I just want to be sure no CLL cells are hiding there. My blood work is still fine, but I heard from another trial that they discovered CLL cells in lymph nodes, even though they were UMRD. And so I said I will have this double checked. I want to see, but I don't think there is anything, but it's better to check.
It's always better to be MRD negative than positive.
Yeah. Well, the blood work is still fine. I just want to, I don't want these CLL cells, you know?
Exactly. Well, so that's interesting that they tested just the node. Do you know if that lymph node, because I have one lymph node that never came down. I mean, it got smaller, but it never came down. It was like just a little over, what is it, 1 centimeter they're supposed to be, or smaller?
It has 2 reasons. Either it has some scarring inside, and that's why it doesn't go down, or some cells are hiding in there. They have a trial, the Horizon 158 trial, doing ibrutinib and venetoclax, and they did a needle biopsy on lymph nodes. And they found CLL cells hiding there, although they were UMRD in blood and bone marrow, I think per NGS testing, which tests in 1 million cells. So when I heard that, I said, well, I'll better double check.
Well, so it does have some CLL cells. Maybe, I mean, you're still going to, there are some, right? Even if you're UMRD, there are still, it's not 100%
Michelle?
gone.
You know what I'm worried about is if there are some cells hiding, what kind of cells are these? Are they dividing? Will they cause problems later? Are they staying in the lymph node and maybe cause something else, another lymphoma or something? So actually, this is why I'm really checking on this.
I'm glad you heard. Sally, what were you just saying?
I was saying that when you're doing a bone marrow biopsy, you know, counting cells and doing everything that you can get a report, an MRD report that says you have, you know, 40 cells or 7% cells, and that's MRD positive. What you want to be is MRD negative. So right. You have to add positive and negative to the end of, you just aren't MRD. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. You're either MRD positive or you're MRD negative.
Right.
Just a clarification.
Well, I am negative. I'm negative, and definitely these people were also negative in this trial, and there were still some cells hiding.
But then if there are cells hiding and they can detect them, then they are MRD positive.
Yeah, but you know, not in blood and marrow. They were UMRD negative, and actually Seymour said that his doctor at MD Anderson said it is possible that you are UMRD in bone and marrow, but you can still have CLL cells in lymph nodes.
But
what I'm trying to say is there is no such thing as being MRD. You are either MRD positive or MRD negative.
Well, usually they don't check the lymph nodes.
And I don't know anything about lymph nodes.
No. There are 3, at least for the trial I was on, there are 3 things they look at: lymph nodes, bone marrow, and your blood work.
Yeah.
So yes, lymph nodes none of them can be over 1, I keep forgetting, is it centimeter or meter?
1.5 usually.
Oh, well, this one was 1, couldn't be over 1. Oh, and your spleen can't be over 12 centimeters or meters, centimeters. Also, yeah, I know, really. And within the UMRD testing, it has to be below is it 0.001?
Yeah.
So there is that 0.001, I guess, of disease left. It's less than 0.001. So there is a bit left, or could be a bit left.
And so they'd say that you're still MRD positive, but you have, 2% or something like that. So they give it in multiple myeloma, they'll give you a count of the number of cells they found, as well as a percentage of the total number.
Well, for us to be considered,
Find any cells in NGS and they test in a million. That is 0.000 something. I don't know.
0.00, it's either 0.001%.
It's 10 to the -6 or 10 to the -5.
Exactly. 10 to -6 is NGS.
Yeah. Next, and for those who don't know what NGF is, that's next generation sequencing.
Mhm.
Doctor. Y'all are all doctors.
So when will you find out?
I know.
When will you find out?
It says 2 weeks, but actually, I don't think they'll find anything. I just want to have it double checked.
Can you keep me updated, please?
Yes, I will.
Well, good luck on that. I'll be thinking
I
about
had a first line treatment. My first line treatment was ibrutinib, obinutuzumab, and then venetoclax. So I had a threefold treatment. So actually, I think they got most of it already then. And in the retreatment, they got the rest of it. I hope. We'll see. But I've heard it a couple of times already that after some time, the ones on 2 drugs develop lymph nodes again. I just talked to one who was also on the obinutuzumab venetoclax treatment in England, Tamsin, and she said she also had a scan because she had some lymph nodes grown in her belly. So, well, they say it's nothing to worry about, but it's not good.
Hey, do you guys mind coming to my husband's doctor appointment with me so you can translate?
Sure. We'll all come.
Oh my gosh, y'all are great.
Oh, so let's hear from our resident artist now, Joe, how you're doing. I know you said that really nothing, but we'd love to hear how you are doing.
Well, I'm still in remission.
Yay!
My hemoglobin goes up and down, and I need transfusions about twice a month. And I'm taking a shot. What's it called?
Luspatercept or Reblozyl.
And it's supposed to boost my
Hemoglobin.
red cells. But so far it hadn't done it.
So far, it's not responding. He hasn't responded. He's started taking transfusions again. He was about a year off of transfusions, and then he started about December or January transfusing again. So we're trying to find a
Happy medium.
good, yeah.
Are there any other drugs out to help?
Well, this is, I just read an article yesterday. It's kind of like they're talking about it being the first line of, defense for his disease and everything. So, yeah. So we'll see. They
What does
just,
Joe have? I'm sorry, Faye, what does Joe have? Or Joe, what do you have?
MDS.
he has MDS and he has
Minus.
deletion 5q. It's chromosome, I guess. And so, but he also has his last bone marrow biopsy had a certain, I don't remember the percentage of ringed sideroblasts in the biopsy. So this also is, they say it's just the right drug to use for that. So hopefully we can perk him up a little bit. He gets perked up when he gets a little transfusion, and then he's ready to go.
Have you tried CBD?
He's on the hard stuff. He's got THC.
Well, CBD, THC, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on what state you're in.
Yeah, well, we're in Florida. He's got his license and everything, so.
But I found a website that it's actually will send. Actually, I have it right here because I can't get CBD with THC in Indiana, and I was using it in California. But I found one that has more than 3% of THC and it has 5%, and they ship it through the mail online. So Indiana doesn't have to know I'm taking THC.
Well, that's right. It's not legal with you.
Nope.
Hey, see, I got like 6 dispensaries right around where I live.
I don't know why they don't, because for those of us who can't sleep on Dex or prednisone, that's wonderful stuff.
Yeah, it does help him sleep.
I sleep pretty sound too.
Yeah, I love it.
So Sally, even if you had your medical license from your license to get it.
Yeah,
and
I am licensed to get it. Nope, you can't get it.
Oh.
Well, first of all, they have no dispensaries.
Right, because she's in a state that it's not legal.
It's not legal here. So either when somebody's coming from California, they bring it to me, or now that I found this website and it works just as fine as the ones I was using, it's great.
My friend ships it to her sister from California to Louisiana. She ships it to her in one of those UPS little boxes and stuff, and shoves it all in there and ships it to her.
Yeah.
But if you use Delta THC, that's not regulated or anything. So it's not considered a cannabis because it's a created form of THC that you can get as well. Even before it became legal in Michigan, people were buying that at gas stations and everything.
Don't know about that one.
Yeah, it's called Delta Delta THC. Look it up.
I will.
Because it's not regulated. Because it's too new. It falls outside all of the legal crap.
So perhaps we should change the topic for a while here to something else. So you already do have this, is what you were saying, Faye. So in Florida, do they have dispensaries now?
Yeah, all over the place.
Oh yeah.
There's a new one popping up every day in Pensacola.
Because when I lived there, that was something, I don't know, I haven't been there in, oh gosh, I haven't lived there in 10 years now. It probably wasn't legal anywhere, so I didn't know.
Times are changing.
They sure are. And so that helps. Yeah, I had steroids yesterday with my infusion. They hadn't done that in a long time, but not this month.
What do you take? Which steroid are they using?
Oh, it was just for the infusion. Dex.
They've taken me off Dex and started doing prednisone. It is half the side effects that Dex has.
There's also a shortage, they said, of different ones, and maybe it's they didn't know what they had prescribed one thing, but they said don't worry if it's something else. There's a shortage right now, at least at my hospital.
Did not know that.
Um,
it's called Metarol prednisone or something like that.
That might be what they gave me.
Yeah, and it's the side effects for me at least were half as what they are with Dex. And the other thing is its half-life is only 36 hours, whereas Dex is 72. Which means Dex stays in your system a lot longer.
That would explain a lot from my first week on when I had obinutuzumab with that. Oh, okay. So, Hallie, since we've been hearing from you, what is going on with you? I know.
Well, I
So,
think in May, I told, I was discussing that my light chains were creeping up. They went from normal to like 26, then 68, and then 203, and then 365. And so to put it in perspective, when I was diagnosed, it was 3,000. So it was still not critical. But I love my doctor, my specialist. He says, okay, let's go out and whack a mole. So he started me on Propolis, prednisone, and Venaclax because I'm a T1114 in myeloma, and it only works on that. So I started taking Venaclax the 1st of June, and because I was relapsing, by the 16th of June, I was in full remission again.
Oh, that's great.
That's excellent.
that is
And actually, even the doctor says, I don't believe this. We're going to do it again. I said, fine. I feel good. I'm fine. And so we're going to stay on this combination for 3 months and then do a bone marrow biopsy. But all my numbers are absolutely perfect. And the most important line in the entire lab report is no monoclonal activity detected.
That's awesome.
Yep. So the stem cell transplant put me into remission right away. So I was in remission for almost 4 years, and I'm going to try it again.
Wow.
And I feel good.
You can do another stem cell transplant?
I could, yeah, but I'm not going to. I'd go to a CAR T.
So, Sally, with multiple myeloma, if you catch the relapse early, like you are, does it generally arrest it, or does that not necessarily happen?
I don't understand the question.
So you caught yours pretty early on.
Right, I caught it because of the light chains.
If you hadn't, okay. So my question is, are you better, or patients better off if they can catch it that early before relapsing with their multiple myeloma in a worse, more progressed?
Yeah, because there's less monoclonal, monoclonal plasma cells to get rid of, and so the drugs don't have to work so hard.
Because for, I asked this with, CLL patients and SLL, there's the watch and wait period where we wait and wait and wait. So that's why I asked, because it's,
well, my doctor does not want ever to watch and wait. He's the whack-a-mole. That's his nickname. He wants to get it now. Whack-a-mole. Haven't you ever played whack-a-mole?
Yes, I love that. I mean, I love the name, Dr. Whack-a-mole.
So, he started doing multiple myeloma research in the 80s. So he has been doing a lot of research on this. And he is pleased, and I am pleased, and
it's terrific.
I'm just happy about it. Yesterday, though, today's Thursday, right? Yeah. Yesterday, for some reason, I got so many different side effects from the Kyprolis, from the infusion. I mean, like it burned and it made my arm itch. And so, then they just gave me some dextrose and it was fine, but it went away immediately. But then I came home and I felt sick. And I've never felt sick in anything that I've taken. Take Ativan and I'm fine, but I had to take 2 of them last night. And then went through the prednisone, red face and hot sweats and things like that for 3 hours. And I just felt bleh until about noon today, which is unusual for me. So I did tell him about it. So in case they changed something, it could be the heat. It was 90 yesterday. Don't know.
I had an odd reaction last month, and the doctor filling in for mine said that they've been seeing some really weird things because of the air quality from the fires in Canada?
Yeah, yeah, we were totally smogged in, or not smogged in, smoked in for about 3
And-
days.
We got some too from Canada.
You did? Wow.
You really in Germany?
Yes.
Quite a bit. They got quite a bit.
That is so
The
far for it.
satellite, it's wild how much they got.
It can travel.
Wow. And have you had it in the dangerous zone?
Well, it was far up, you know, it wasn't.
The stratosphere.
Yeah, it was all the way up, but it was cloudy and, well, they said it was the smoke. That's why we didn't have any sun.
Wow. Anyone else here have had the air quality issues because of that? We have.
Ours looked like it was a dense fog in Santa Barbara. But it
Wow.
We
was in
took a
Indiana.
circle. We got a circle of it, and we were at 200, 250, and it smelled
Wow.
like burnt plastic outside. And it just kept
Ugh.
that circulating for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. And so nobody went out. I mean, it was weird. It was almost like kind of COVID again.
So you didn't bicycle, right? You didn't
No,
bicycle.
no, I didn't bike. I didn't bike at all. I didn't ride for 5 days. Drove me nuts.
Jim, what about you? Were you out bicycling in that?
Well, no, actually, I was volunteering, and it was a code orange here for about 3 days. But then after it happened to lift, I jumped on the bicycle.
What is a code orange?
Code orange says unhealthy. Stay indoors.
Wow.
That's pretty severe.
So,
I've never seen it like this. I have never. I've lived here for 34 years in the Metro Detroit area. Never saw anything like this. Ever.
We saw it a lot in California in the last 4 years.
Yeah, his sister lives in fire country.
That's true. You would, Sally. So yeah, this is kind of new went to a barbecue on this past Saturday and it ended up being inside because of the air quality. It's my cousin who just moved from California back east. Kind of like what you did, but you didn't go quite as far as she did, Sally, but she moved back home, after 30 years in California. And we're all like, so it's a little smoke, And she's like, no, because she knows more, having been in California about all this.
Mm-hmm.
And her mother's about to turn 100 next month. So she wanted to make sure she makes it to her birthday party,
Wow.
Mazel tov.
Exactly. So Sally, other than all this, I know that we had communicated, so you're feeling tired, fatigued, or is that changing?
No, I'm not as tired and fatigued as I was. No. And I think the tired and the fatigue was the relapsing.
Oh, that
How
makes
are
sense.
your
Because
legs?
I've only been
Debbie?
tired and fatigued for the last 2 months. So
How are your legs? You had problems with your legs, didn't you?
that's
How are
still,
they?
that's a still ongoing problem. Only
Oh,
because I broke the ankle and they still don't know how to fix it. And so I'm walking around on a broken ankle.
Oh no.
Yep. But Aleve takes care of most of it. So
Is that a broken ankle from your multiple myeloma?
they don't know. They don't know when I fell off the step into the garage. They don't know if I fell and broke my ankle or if my ankle broke and I fell.
Wow.
Yes, I was wondering. Wow.
So, and of course, it's not important to them because it's not serious. I mean, it's serious because it's broken, but it's not. There's aren't bones sticking out of the skin, so they did some nerve tests, and I haven't even gotten reports back from the nerve test yet. So
can you walk?
It could. Yeah, I can walk. In fact, when you weren't, I don't know if you were on the screen, I walked in and just turned on the Zoom and I just walked from a poetry reading, which was down the street. That's the first time I'd walked that far though, which is good.
Those of us with CLL and SLL are aware that Andrew Shore, who has been a very strong advocate for our type of cancer, had an accident on his electric bike, went over a little speed bump and lost control. And he's 72 years old, ended up on the ground with a broken collarbone, and he also has some cracked ribs. So
Three cracked. He's in pain.
Now, I thought Andrew Shore had multiple myeloma.
No,
MDS.
CLL
He has CLL?
Yeah.
Okay.
and MDS.
Well, because he's very active in our groups too.
He is all blood cancers. Well, I mean, because he founded Patient Power, so
Yeah.
he's in with, with all of that. But yes, he did those bicycles. I'm telling you, I still haven't gotten back on one after mine. But yeah, I think I need to get a tricycle. That's what my husband says. He doesn't
I
want
have an
me.
electric bike. I mean, electric scooter.
Really?
Oh, when I was first diagnosed, I was diagnosed in June, and by September 1st, I couldn't walk at all. And then, it was useful for my stem cell transplant because I was an outpatient, and I could scootle around and get to the outpatient hospital. Except when it was raining in Pasadena in March, for the first rain they'd ever had in March. But anyway, so I still have my scooter, and I'd love to just relax and use my scooter.
Do you use it now?
No, it's been in the garage since I moved here.
Wow.
I use a cane.
Are you walking I know you were walking, but now you broke your ankle, but I know that in California you were walking a lot. Were you doing that? And can you do that in Ohio like you did in California?
Not as much, only because the neuropathy still is bothering me in that leg. So the neuropathy problem is more of a balance problem than walking. And you have to mentally remember to pick up your foot so you don't trip over a limb branch or a curb or a rug or something like that. So
Right. Heel to toe.
very good, Joe. That's the secret.
Is this is your new treatment sparked your neuropathy back up, or was that already?
Actually, it's decreased it. So I don't know what that means, but I'm happy about it.
That's very good.
Yes, it was the Velcade that caused it. That and my orthopedic surgeon that replaced my knee. But no, I think the either that or it's just been long enough that it's getting out of my system after 5 years. So
My neuropathy had gone away when I had stopped frontline treatment. It eventually went away, but when I started back up with when I went on acalabrutinib, it got really bad again. And then
are you taking alpha lipoic acid?
No. Should I
You
be?
should be taking alpha lipoic acid at least 600 milligrams twice a day.
600 twice?
You can start out with 300 twice a day, but then get up to 600.
Do I need to
get
check?
it at Amazon? Get it at Amazon. It's made from potatoes.
Can I just eat potatoes instead?
No.
Uh-huh.
It's not. I don't think you could eat that many potatoes.
That's a lot of potatoes.
Potato
600
chips?
milligrams is a lot of dose.
So, do you have a
That's
particular?
why I said start with 300 and go up to 6. I'm at 600 now, so it's helping.
So you do 600 twice a day or 300 twice a day?
I started for the first 2 years 300. Get it at Amazon.
Is it the Amazon brand or a different brand on Amazon? Doesn't matter. Okay.
As long as it's not from China, right? As long as it's not from China.
So you know of this as well, Jerry?
Yeah, I took it when I was riding, when I was really, but before I didn't take it for neuropathy. I took it for other reasons, for performance, for bicycling.
It's an amino acid.
Yeah, I took a bunch of stuff.
And
All
they
right.
found that it actually works on the mitochondria in the cells, and that's what's the neuropathy is being caused by, is the destruction of the mitochondria.
Cool.
And red light therapies also stimulates your mitochondria and stem cells, by the way.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, yeah, isn't mitochondria, that's also for a lot of different cells, right, in the body? It's more
Oh,
than
every cell has has mitochondria.
aging,
Yeah.
cancer. So alpha lipoic,
That's
okay?
why I look so good as I'm taking alpha lipoic acid.
That's what I was just thinking. Seriously, Sally, I was thinking that. I'm like, wow, that's how 79 can be the new 59.
You're right.
Right.
So that's how I was diagnosed, because of my neuropathy. And it was a second podiatrist that asked for my doctor to do lab work on me, and that's when they saw my numbers elevated.
Wow. Somebody was on the ball.
The first podiatrist I saw took pictures of my feet, and they had the arch supports made, which are like $400 that the insurance doesn't cover. So I got those, and I never heard back from him. So I made an appointment back with him, and that was about 6 months later. So when I go in there, he walks in and he goes, what can I do for you? And I said, do you remember me? And he goes, well, sort of. He says, how can I help you? And I said, you gave me these arch supports. And I said, I used to hike and I would bike. I played competitive racquetball. I would go for walks. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. And I just wanted to touch base with you and follow up. Where are you trying to get with this? Which way are we going? I haven't heard back from you. Do I need to see another doctor or something? And he threw the paper up in the air and he walked out of the office and it said, yeah, get another doctor.
Ah,
Woo!
So I did, at the same place. I went out and sat in my truck and I looked on their website, and I found this young Vietnamese woman, had great reviews, credentials and everything. She spoke like 3 or 4 different languages. Made an appointment with her. When I went in there, told her what happened and what was going on. And she says, well, before I do anything, she says, who's your primary care? I told her, and she says, okay. She says, I'm going to send them a note. She says, I want to do some lab work on you and see where your numbers are at. We're going to do a full lab count. And went to my doctor later, and about a month later. And and that's how I was diagnosed.
Lucky you found her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. That first one, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
In it for the money.
he just wanted to sell you the arch supports.
Yeah,
Right.
sure did.
Did you complain about that one?
What's
Or
that?
did you write a letter? I don't know who you'd write a letter of complaint to.
No, I thought about it, but no, I left it alone. And I don't know,
You Yelp them.
Jim, you said you had a status update.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Prostate cancer going on 6 years. I have been on a treatment holiday for a year. And finally, my testosterone went from non-existent to 113 in a month and a half.
Wow.
So testosterone's recovering. So
Fantastic.
huh?
I said fantastic.
No, it's not fantastic.
Oh, it's
Because,
not fantastic.
right, if the testosterone starts to recover, it's their food. And they start to eat it. And then they start to get active. And then what happens is that essentially, and with the PSA starts to rise, and I then return to the estrogen deprivation therapy to
Oh,
take away my testosterone. So,
I didn't know that.
oh yeah, it's been an interesting year because surprisingly, I felt worse after I stopped everything than I did on the drugs that I was on. I felt great, except for the hot flashes, which were intermittent because of the prednisone. I was on suppressed arthritis in my hands, elbows, and shoulders.
Mm.
So anyway, but I cope and I exercise
We
still.
all cope.
I know, and I am just about to turn 79 in a few weeks. So
Wow. So you're about to be 59 as the new 59 as well, huh?
right. That is true. Getting close to 60. Not quite there yet. But that's the update. And then
Thank you.
also I've got what they discovered, essentially a nodule within the lung, which is only 5 millimeters, and it's stayed that way for a couple of years. So I'm interested if it's going to start to grow. So anyway, I have to have it checked
It
shortly.
sounds like like scarring from bronchitis or something.
I don't know, but hopefully it is. So we'll see. Oh, otherwise, interesting thing. Okay, at the time I was first told I had this thing. Okay, I got it through then essentially a biopsy, okay, on a lymph node. So I applied to the VA, and they happened to credit me with not only prostate cancer, but also non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh, boy.
Which they classify as, would you believe, any cancer that happens to be within a lymph node. A very loose interpretation of the thing, but I said, oh, okay. So that's how come I stumbled onto this group. I figure, well, I must have, would you believe, a blood cancer, because I've got non-Hodgkin lymphoma, besides my sister, though. And I think she's still doing well, although she doesn't really talk
She's in
about it.
denial.
I know. And I don't know how much she has been talking to you in the past few months.
She doesn't answer my emails.
Oh, I will have to get on her. Okay. That's my update.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope your levels then plateau and don't continue going up.
Well, it'll be interesting because the thing that always happens with the men that go on to the treatment where it suppresses all of the testosterone, the doctors never order a test prior to starting it. So at the time it returns, you never know what it could be or should be, okay, after it was suppressed. So a lot of us have been attempting to tell guys, get essentially a baseline test done before you go start a treatment. So if it returns, you know if it goes back to the amount that it was before the treatment.
So that's not protocol then, right now.
Apparently it isn't, because you are generally treated by a urologist who's a surgeon, and all they're thinking about is for the short term. And if it progresses beyond the short term, or there are, it goes further, all that they do is goes, not my job anymore. You should go see a oncologist, okay, and they kick you out the door. So, so yes, it is a problem.
Jim, can you in the chat, give me your email address. I have a cousin who was just diagnosed.
Oh, yes. The thing is, I would love to talk to him before he starts anything, because right now he's probably encountering PTSD, because all of a sudden you are told you have cancer and your mind goes absolutely berserk. So actually the thing
That's called the
have,
deer in the headlights syndrome.
yes, and the thing I do here, I try to talk to guys who then have it or who were told, and I try to calm them down and explain to them what's going to happen, and et cetera, to calm them down, to get them educated. And I've also got some things I've written specifically for a patient, by a patient, me, explaining things in extremely elementary terms so they can have an intelligent conversation with the doctor, and they know the things to ask for or to make sure it's done. Plus, also, the thing that he should do is to join the AnCan low risk group, depending upon what or how severe his is. Because how old is he?
75.
75. Yeah. So, yeah.
Not high risk. I guess it's early stages.
Well, it's early stages, but it all depends upon after they do and with the biopsy. And there's a score, essentially a Gleason score. And depending upon his score, he could be low risk, intermediate risk, high risk. So
if you can give me your email so that we can,
I already did.
Oh, all
That's
right. In that way, thank
In
you.
the chat.
Okay. Because I don't want to waste everyone else's time.
Oh,
So, because
Oh, no, I would be happy to talk to him and ship him some stuff and to get him essentially into the right group and AnCan wise, because we do have a fantastic support structure, especially with all of the doctors who are stage 4 and terminal who have joined our group, which is, wait a minute, doc, wait a minute, you're supposed to have known better.
Yeah,
Why
really.
were you getting tested? Well, I was too busy, and it felt great. So they have the same stories as us.
Thank you so much
Sure.
for that and for your email. I'll be
Okay.
writing to you. So I am just looking, I feel like I'm looking around the room.
I think Mary's the only one that hasn't said anything, but she said she didn't have any status updates.
Al. Yeah, Al, did you?
I do. I have a question. Back to the drug Sally was talking about for shingles. Why is it that blood cancer patients get shingles? Because before I was diagnosed, I got shingles twice, less than a year apart. So I got shingles, and I think it was about 6 or 8 months later, I got it again.
Shingles, as you know, is a consequence of chickenpox, the same virus. It's a virus.
But why is it that cancer patients end
Low
up
immunity. Low immunity.
Low immunity, yeah.
Low immunity. It's nothing.
Okay.
It's nothing different than a herb. It's.
It resides in nerve cells and can get reactivated when your immune system is bad.
Yeah, so the first time I got it, I just got a little tiny dot. It looked like a bee sting, smaller than a zit, a pimple. But it was on there for 2 or 3 days. And I told my wife, I said, I don't know what this is. I'm going to go get it checked out. And it was right on my side, on my body.
That's exactly where they go.
And who would have ever thought? The nurse looked at it. She goes, "Oh, you got shingles." but that's all I got. And then about the 6 or 8 months later, I got the same thing in the same spot, but just like a jellyfish sting.
Hey,
It was just like a line, but not bad at
Mhm.
all. What?
Well, you're lucky.
You probably had some antibodies
Well,
already.
yeah, in addition to our immune systems being impaired, some of the medications they give us also further impair the immune system. So,
But
that,
Al, it seems like your getting it was a precursor of you being diagnosed.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I think too. You're right.
So that's what's interesting is that it could be a new diagnostic tool.
You have to start Acyclicloviir immediately within the next 3 or 5 days, and then it doesn't get that bad.
I think
So
I think
yeah.
I think senior citizens also, whether they have any type of disorder or not, their immune systems just tend to go downhill as we get older and older.
Right. So I still haven't gotten my shingles shot yet.
Don't use Acyclovir
are you
or talk
taking
to your
that?
doctor about it.
Yeah.
I will. That's why I asked you. Yeah, I'm going to talk to my doctor about it.
May I quote from the Journal of Infectious Diseases? The new analysis from the Journal of Infectious Diseases has also found that the higher risk for shingles among patients with blood cancers was present up to 2 years before their cancer diagnosis. And it's 40% higher than the general population.
For shingles?
Yep.
Yep.
So Al, I just
And Al
sent
could
you,
have been a case study on that.
I'm surprised you're not on it.
I
Yeah.
just sent it to you, Al, the name of it that we're talking about. In case you don't have it, I just put it in the chat. Actually,
I sent it to him earlier.
oh,
So the other
Yeah,
question,
it's also called Valtrex.
how many of
Yeah.
you have not gotten the shingles shot?
I had it before I got sick, but then it wiped it out. So I got to get it again at some point in time.
Yeah. So my doctor at Mayo, they keep pushing it on me, but I still haven't gotten it.
Wonder.
Well,
So
if you
your
haven't got,
immune
if
system
your
must not
immune
be bad.
system is not compromised, you can probably take the Shingrix shot with no problem and build antibodies.
Yeah.
But
Right.
my IgG and IgM and IgA are so below normal that, they're all very concerned that I would never get antibodies built.
Right.
So that's
And it's
why I
two
stay
shots.
on the Acyclovir.
It's 2 shots.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My wife just completed them and I saw what happened to her. Do I want to go through that?
Really, I didn't have any big deal whatsoever with it.
Yeah, some people don't, but yeah, she was bruised. I mean, not bruised, but it was red and, the
Oh
fever.
yeah, that's for the shot. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the poor baby.
Yeah. She'll live.
Well, my wife had a bad case of shingles, and she
Can you see these bruises they do to me?
Oh, jeez.
what were you saying, Lynn?
my wife had a bad case of shingles and lots of pain, and it lingered on for about 3 months. So
Yep.
she was taking gabapentin for the pain. And
Well, and actually, the first, I don't know, what do you call it? The first prescription when you get shingles is high doses of Acyclovir
Right.
yeah, as soon
Mm-hmm.
as possible.
as soon as possible.
That's
So
interesting.
I figure if I'm going to be on it, I take one in the morning and one in the after the evening. And if I forget every other pill in my pill box, I will take my Acyclovir. I had a friend here that got it, and he got it, all around his chest.
Oh,
And a year later, his nipples are still so, he can barely wear a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I had it when I was 14, and I'd been on a hayride the night before, so we thought it was poison ivy, but I've gone since then. I've looked at the pictures of shingles, and it was bright, well, just solid red. It had blisters and all, but all from halfway around to my back, halfway around to my stomach, and I
Yep.
was miserable.
Wow.
And it
But you're,
follows the nerve,
And my grandpa
it follows your nerve map across your chest.
and my grandmother and aunt we were with, they said, "What you need is some Epsom salt." That didn't help at all.
That's for poison ivy.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Also, did you know that Epsom salts in a spray bottle, I think it's a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons in a gallon, make your tomatoes better? Just spray it on the plant.
Your tomato plant? Tomato
Yeah,
plants?
spray Epsom salt water on, because tomatoes use an inordinate amount of magnesium, and that's what's Epsom salts. So all of you people who are growing tomatoes, put Epsom salts in the water in spring. You only have to do it once or twice a month. So, I mean, it's not a everyday occurrence.
Sally, you're full of knowledge. All kinds of
I'm
stuff.
a trivia. I'm full of worthless information.
Okay, I have a question. Who here had chicken pox as a kid?
Yeah.
I had a very light case of it, but yeah.
And the one who didn't raise his hand, the one who did not raise his hand does not have a blood cancer. Anyway, I'm not saying anything. It's just, shingles from chicken pox, and then shingles could be, as you had said, Sally, can happen 2 years before.
Diagnosis.
Yeah, that was not a scientific study. It was N equals however many there are of us here, 8, 9.
Yeah.
So,
8 out of 9 is, hey, mhm.
So I'm not saying for anyone watching, I'm not saying that's anything. It's just was an observation. So, yeah, I'm not ready for a study yet, a clinical trial yet. Although Sally, you're getting close to it here with all your knowledge. So I'm seeing, has everyone spoken here? I have not. I had my second to the last obinutuzumab infusion yesterday. My last one is next month. I'm very happy about that. I will remain, we have to see how, and I have all the testing next month, August 1st, CAT scans, super duper blood work. I'm hoping not a bone marrow biopsy, but we'll see. And but I will remain on acalabrutinib. And
why don't you get a bone marrow biopsy under sedation if your doctor can't do it well?
I always get it under sedation.
I did up until the
I had
last
it
one.
once. I had it once where they did it twice on me, and I said I'm going under sedation.
My first one was 3 times by the head of the department, and my patient advocate stopped the procedure. It was so bad. But anyway, then I did the next 3 or 4 under sedation, and then when I moved here, Dr. Abenor said, "I can do it, and you'll never feel it." And I said, "No, I've been through this. I've been with Dr. Krishna, and she was the most respected doctor, et cetera, et cetera." He goes, "I'll make you bet. I'll take you to dinner if you can feel this and it's hurt." It was better than sedation because I didn't even, it wasn't even sore afterwards. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, so you didn't get dinner?
No, he was very sure of himself.
But you didn't feel the drill bit or anything, because normally, what they do is they stick a needle in and then they drill
And
it.
they put the trocar in. Didn't feel a thing.
They use an electric.
I knew he used 3 little packets of lidocaine, but that's all.
It's more the bone. It's the bone that,
Yeah.
I get it. You don't feel the flesh, but boy, when they hit that bone.
No, I didn't hear any of it. I didn't hear any of it. I didn't feel any of it. And of
Did
course,
they
I
give
was
you
stressed to the max, but no.
did they give you the amnesia drug and you just don't remember?
No, they didn't give me anything.
It's not protocol at Dana-Farber to put you under, and every time they try to convince me, no, you just must be, it's anxiety. I'm like, this is not anxiety. I say, have you ever had one? I think I've shared that before. No, I want to say, then let's see how you feel when I give you one. That's what I want to say.
Exactly. Don't move. You can't move. Oh, geez.
Um,
But
yeah, but you know,
here's some
oh,
good news, guys. They're they now have 3 companies that are working through the FDA for liquid bone marrow biopsies
Wow.
praise
That'd
the
be
Lord
great.
for
on that.
all patients,
What is
MM
that?
included.
I
And they
mean, my
do
hips
have
are
them
like
already for
6'2".
CLL.
What
Except
does that mean?
not all of them think they're as good. Yeah.
They can do the bone marrow biopsy through the peripheral blood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's 1 in a million, is it?
No, and no, it's 1 to 5 is, what is it, 100,000.
Oh, yeah.
It's
See,
not
they want
next,
more
it's not next gen. It's
than that. Oh,
the other one,
Flow cytometry.
flow cytometry, yeah.
oh, you're not talking about the bone marrow biopsy through clonoSEQ? I mean,
No.
they send, instead of a bone marrow biopsy, I mean, they do is it clonoSEQ?
Yeah.
It's
clonoSEQ.
clonoSEQ.
And that's
Abby.
only 1 in 10,000. See, that's not good enough
No,
for.
no, no. clonoSEQ is 1
1
in a
in a
million.
million.
Okay, that's what.
1 to the 6th.
Okay, that's what I thought from before. So
But they're starting now to have results for these liquid ones that are comparable to the next gen.
Well, they're doing all kinds of things. They also do ctDNA. So they
They
have
do one
all
with a
kinds of
scan
things.
too, some sort of scan.
wait a minute. So
Yeah,
the liquid
different
bone
things.
what's the liquid from? They still take your.
Peripheral blood.
It's still blood,
The
yeah.
blood in your arm. But they don't drill through bones.
No.
Yeah, that's the not so good. Maybe your bones are just in really good shape, Sally, and they're
Yes,
not
I have very strong bones.
to get through. Well, so anyway, so yes, next month I'll have had my last one a few days before we meet. So I'll be very happy. And obinutuzumab was a bear in the beginning, but I have to say, today I don't feel so bad. And last month, you know, I had some fatigue days, but not like in the beginning. Last month I got itchy all over, that hence the steroid this time. The next day, the month before that, I had horrible mouth and throat sores internal. I think I had shared that and a few other things, little surprises here and there, but as opposed to traditional chemo where you feel worse as you go on, they did claim I'd feel better as it went on. And sure enough, they weren't kidding.
Which drug was that?
It's
Which
called
drug?
Gazyva or obinutuzumab. In the CLL world, they call it obinutuzumab, but its other name that people seem to know more is Gazyva. And
Okay.
it's a
I thought you
CD.
said teclistamab, and I was going to say I didn't know they were using that for that, but no, never mind.
It's a CD20 antibody. And it's used in conjunction with either venetoclax, a BCL2, or with a BTK inhibitor.
Okay.
Oh,
And
stand up.
it does, people who have IVHG unmutated, which is not the worst of genetic mutations, but it's certainly not the best in the CLL and SLL world, it works best if you have it, which is very odd.
If there's something for it to grab onto.
So
That's why venetoclax works with a T1114 translocation in myeloma, but won't work for a 414 or a 416.
No.
I was wondering about that when you were saying that, if it's similar to that. Okay.
It can't identify a protein, right?
Right.
Attached to. I had the same problem. AML, same way. They don't have a protein to attach to.
Well, Mary, did you want to say anything or Bird before we sign off tonight?
No, I'm good, thanks.
I
So
had
good.
one question. I had just one question I wanted to ask the group. I got a bone scan, and they came back and said I've got osteoporosis and in my back, and then where I'm losing bone actually in my hip. And I asked the guy, "Is that because I fell and broke my hip?" That my oncologist just said probably not. So they want to inject me with denosumab.
What's the other name for it? Zometa?
Prolia,
Yeah,
Exzivia,
Prolia is the other
Exzivia,
name. Yeah, Prolia is the name I'm more, wait a minute, is Prolia the one that you
inject
get it once
every
a
6
year?
months.
Every 6
Yeah,
months.
every 6 months.
And is
Yeah.
that one that you can't stop, or if you stop, you have to switch over to Zometa?
That I don't know.
I know there's one that you have to continue with or switch over. So Prolia, I was supposed to start Zometa when I started obinutuzumab, but I had too many side effects from the obinutuzumab. I didn't want to start two things at once.
Zometa, there are very few side effects with Zometa. You might get some bone pain, take Claritin. So, but and it only lasts a day or two.
just so happens,
Claritin.
Del, in our high-risk group at the very end, there was a very in-depth discussion of, let's see, that kind of thing, Xchiva.
Exgiva, Zometa, yeah.
And the thing that they said that before you started Xchiva, you should get all of your
Dental.
dental work done, and then if you were to stop Xchiva, that what you generally do is to start up Zometa, which will
Well, that's what I'd be getting, but Jerry, it's different. He's going with
right, which will supposedly lock in the gains you got. But the thing
But
is,
Zometa stays in your body almost 8 years.
right, except
And
it
it
happens,
also can cause necrophyzing fascias of the jaw.
Right, that's what they said. You're correct. So they
the
said make sure
Zometa.
you get.
Not, yeah, Zometa.
Wait a minute. So, but that's a very minor percentage of people.
yeah, only
Almost everybody gets, I mean, getting the jaw thing. I don't know how
the
minor
jaw
it is.
thing,
It's like
they
5%.
said the jaw things was around 1 to 2% of it, but the Zometa happens to make your bones hard, and they're not as flexible as they are. So you have to be uh, careful about bone injuries or breaks because the
And it
bone
also
is
prevents bone
extremely
injuries and
hard.
breaks by filling in the holes.
I was going to
Right.
say that's what I'm going on
Yeah,
it.
it builds bones. They're saying.
It
Yeah.
builds bones.
But I know what you're saying, Jim, because I know some of them do make your bones more brittle, some of the Fosamax. But yeah, I'm going on it so that if I fall, my bones won't break. But Jerry, or Jim, if either of you know, doesn't Prolia do the same thing though as Zometa, or does it do it in a different way?
It must be because this is only just Prolia and Xgeva.
Exgiva.
Right.
Extiva.
And all the names that it comes under, yes.
So is one better than the other?
Now that I don't know. You should maybe talk to
Oh, I have.
Rick about
This is from a
because-
specialist. Yeah, I'm curious what patients have went through and gone, what their doctors have said. This is through an endocrinologist.
Yeah,
The next month.
as
So
I
I know.
said,
I'm gonna know.
how about to talk to Rick?
Jerry, Prolia and Exgiva are the same thing.
Yeah,
Right.
correct.
Okay, and Jerry, would you say next month you're getting it?
Yeah, because they came back and said you got to get something to, calcium and vitamin D isn't going to cut it.
Yeah, for me as well.
So they
So,
told me, make sure you go to the dentist, make sure you get a scan of everything and all that. And I had done that. I just got done doing that. But they watched that.
yeah, I had a choice, and I don't remember why I chose the one I did because it's been 5 months since I made that choice. I don't honestly remember why I chose, but I know, Sally, you and Rick talked about Zometa before.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
you did well on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
But they only kept me on it for 2 years. And it's once every 3 months you get a shot. So
Oh, it's every 3 months. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
think
had it
this one,
once every 3 months.
yeah, this one's relative. I think this one might be newer because they had to go through and get prior authorization and all these approvals for me to get this thing.
Exiva is newer than Zometa.
So this is every 6 months. So we'll see.
Good. You shouldn't have any problems if you do get bone pain, because it can cause that right after the injections, is just take Claritin.
Yeah, that's what I actually had bone pain
Bone pain, you take
after the stem cell scenario.
Yeah.
What does Claritin do for bone pain?
Claritin is an antihistamine, and most of the bone pain comes from inflammation from the inside of the bone, and it can't get out. So the
Claritin's an
Claritin
excellent
helps with
anti-inflammatory,
breaking it
really.
down.
It's a good
I'm
one.
sorry,
Particularly,
Jerry?
I can't take like naproxen sodium or ibuprofen, stuff like that because of kidneys and everything.
Yeah.
And so they said take Claritin and take Singular is also. So I actually take Claritin in the morning and I take Singular, which is monoleucostat or whatever, but the Singular at night. And that really that helps reduce inflammation without having to take a ton of ibuprofens and things like that. Plus, I have allergies, so I get double benefit on it.
so Claritin didn't touch the bone pain I got when the month before last they gave me a new Lasta shot because my white blood cells had tanked so much. So when they were boosted, so they recovered so quickly, I had horrible bone pain, and yeah, Claritin didn't even touch it,
And you can
unfortunately.
take two of them unless it's prescription. So the deal is if they tell you to take over the counter, this is from my allergist telling me, is you can mix and match these analgesics to where you could take Singular, you could take I forget what the other one is, but you could take up to 3 different kinds. And he said you could take a Claritin in the morning and at night, and take it with Singular. It won't really. So if one didn't work, I talked to him about taking two, not at once, but one in the morning, one at night.
Yeah, that would keep you up, right? Claritin D.
No,
Have to-
no, it doesn't at all. No.
You take the D or just the Claritin?
Oh God, not the
Just the
D.
Claritin.
He'd be like, "Yee."
No D. Okay, that's what I
It's got
wanted
a
to.
bunch of it's got a bunch of Sudafed in it.
Well, that's why I was asking about if keeping up, because Claritin is hard. It's hard to find plain. It was anyway a few months ago, hard to find Claritin, just plain, in our
Oh,
pharmacy.
really? So you Costco member? I hate to keep on bringing up Costco, but Costco has tons of it, and it's generic. I mean, I bought a year's supply for like $12
I need to go
of
to
it.
Costco.
Oh yeah, they have it. It's their own brand, Kirkland. I've been taking it for years.
Well, we've had some great tips tonight. Thank you. Alpha lipoic acid, bidets, Claritin D, how to build our bones. And I wish everyone luck on their test. Barbell, I hope everything comes out no CLL and nothing else.
I'll let you know.
Thank you. A fluke. Sherry, keep me posted, would you, about the Prolia and what happens? You said
Yeah.
it's
By the way, Prolia is a monoclonal antibody. So it's like some of the drugs that, they give us to get rid of stuff. So
is Zometa as well?
no, Zometa is a biosphosphonate.
What?
Yeah, it is. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, this was very, very, as I said, they had to go through a bunch of hoops to get this for me.
Wow. And
But I
Jim,
promise.
have a happy birthday, Jim.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
it's coming up soon. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
see you on August, I think it's 4th maybe, or 3rd. First week of August.
Thank you. We
Thank
enjoyed it.
you.
Bye-bye.
Good luck, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Right.
Good night.